everyone. This is Luca Majno here with Frank Gregory Ford. Once again, this is Global News Update on TLBTV, courtesy of the Liberty Beacon Project, brought to you by the Liberty Beacon Project, where we give you complete backstage, up-to-date info as to the developments occurring in our world today. Good evening, Greg, once again.
Good evening, Luca.
How's everybody doing? Actually, no, it's not going to be evening. When the show's going to be aired, it's going to be Monday at 2 o'clock. So,
okay.
Those of you, I'm going to be sharing screens right now. Those of you who
I say good afternoon.
There you go. Okay. And those of you who do not know beauty like this, like we're seeing here, well, shit. This is your Monday. We're going to start like this because I thought that was very appropriate, because a lot of people feel that way Monday morning. Also, today, when I was working, somebody came by with this shirt that I said to myself, it has to be on SNAPSHOT today, because that's exactly how we're starting to feel, especially on Mondays, right? My sense of humor may hurt your feelings. Well, telling the truth does too, and that's what we do on this show. While we're working outside, my friend Larry Cooper here, who does our fry bread and our tacos for the Indian stand that we have. It's called the Standing Bear Council, and what we do is we have educational shows or educational visits to different towns. In this case, we have one booth doing fry bread and tacos where I was working with him, and on the other one we have jewelry for sale. So it was in Barrie, Illinois, and he has this shirt that he wears, and it reflects his anger, or his bitterness is a proper word, towards the European race that came in here and that took the land by force. And I wanted to share it with you. It's a beautiful, beautiful quote from a Blackfoot Chief. The land was put here by, for us, by the Great Spirit, and we cannot sell it because it does not belong to us. You can count your money and burn it within the nod of a buffalo's head, but only the Great Spirit can count the grains of sand and the blades of grass on these plains. As a present to you, we will give you anything we have you can take with you, but the land, never. And this is the way they thought, basically, for the longest of time. Whatever you can carry, you can take with you, but you can't take anything else, because it's not ours to give. It's as simple as that. So in this spirit, I wanted to show the president of the Standing Bear Council, again, talking to people. He was a survivor. He is a survivor of the residential school system. So there's a lot of teachings there, but there's a lot of bitterness towards other cultures, the exclusion of other cultures, if you will. So that is my snapshot for today. And I wanted to welcome you to the show and dedicate this show to the Standing Bear Council, which I'm part of for 1 year this month. So.
Oh, great. Thank you. That's very interesting, especially in what we're seeing with our government policies today. They haven't changed, from 1820, okay, to the present. We are looking at, a long-standing policy of basically viewing anyone that is less than capable of defending themselves or just existing, okay, sitting on, living on, standing on whatever this group of people, and like I say, it's a multi-generational issue, want to take, want to utilize, want to steal. They never want to pay for it. They never want to make adjustments, okay? And this is the same group that we see that is in control of the U.S. government right now, and through a long-term maneuvering, they came in control of the United States government with the hijacking and advent of George W. Bush. All right, the groundwork was laid by his father. Okay, the most sinister, evil, corrupt, pathologically criminal man was ever ever held the office of the United States presidency. And he laid the groundwork, and this was done by his Secretary of Defense. Okay, we're talking George H.W. Bush.
Yeah.
And the Secretary of Defense was named Dick Cheney. And Dick Cheney spent the first 3 months when he was, and no one knows this, all right? But he spent the first 3 months actually laying the groundwork for what was going to happen in terms of taking over the government by this group. And this has been the situation for a long time, ever since that point, all right? And it was Dick Cheney who disappeared for 3 months, laid the agenda, got the briefings, and then basically it was a follow-on of a group of poltroon type candidates, Manchurian candidates, all run, all controlled, all connected by the Central Intelligence Agency. Oh yes, right. Yeah, the treasonous body. It's treasonous in every sense of the word. That's why they invented the word treason, to cover this action, all right? And what we have here now is we're seeing the end result and situation of that policy. The policy actually started, like I say, in the 1820s, but we saw World War II start. World War II, not World War I so much. That was kind of an accident. But World War II start with this policy, and it has been with us ever since. Basically, get enough people thinking the same way, get into positions of power, which they've done, and we now have this group of people in charge of the United States of America that are attempting to dismantle the U.S. Constitution and the United States of America as an active entity and a country entity. All right? Don't believe me? See what the Rothschild banking system has done. Look what they're doing right now, okay, in terms of the banking and financing, all right? They are pulling out the actual working infrastructure of the United States of America, and they have basically stated that they are going to dismantle the Constitution of the United States and the Declaration of Independence and its implications. So that's what we have here now. And yes, the Bush family is the attack dog of the Rothschild family, and that's what we have.
Yeah.
As of today, mark my words, and you can go anywhere you want to see this actual group of people doing this. As I say this, they are doing this today. So yes, we have insurgency going on, and insurgency in this country, and probably within the next 6 months, I'm saying within the next 6 months, you'll see a spectacular example of what this country will be. It will no longer be the United States of America. It'll basically be the United States of Israel.
Yeah.
Anybody doubt that? Call in. Have anybody call in they want and make a statement about it. I don't care. Call it Semitism, anti-Semitism, anti-Hebrew, whatever you want to call it, okay? But that's what's going to happen, all right? That's what we have here. So, in a way, it's kind of revenge, for all the indigenous Native American populations, the indigenous South African populations, the indigenous Australian populations. Yes, this is a revenge for them, basically. But karma. Believe me, this group is here. Okay,
it's karma.
Yes, absolutely.
I can throw in a story about karma if you'd like.
About who?
About karma, very quickly.
Oh, certainly. I'm always interested in karma, especially nowadays.
And because there's also 500 tribes and there's 500 different ways of doing things, there's also 500 tribes and 500 legends and 500 legends that are told differently every time. This is the way I got it. We're talking We're talking about the Wappinger tribe in what is today New York. Appropriately New York City, I have to say this. And I probably did say this story before, but I have to say it the way I was told.
I'm sorry, Luca, is that the Wappinger Falls, New York, that you were referring to?
These are the Wappinger tribe. This is the Wappinger tribe that lived in the time in and around New York City area, just that I'm talking about in this case.
Okay.
And the Dutch were there. The Dutch were sitting there trying to get all the land that they could. And through polite means and through friendship means and through friendship contacts, they actually paid the Dutch for they paid the original people there, the Wappinger, for the land, thinking that they owned it. Wappinger say, no, we're leasing it to you. We're not selling it to you. We don't have the right to sell it. It's not ours, as we said in the beginning of the show. This is the Wappinger way of doing things. We know you want to pay us, you're paying us rent. That's fine. So it got into a heated argument, of course. So the Dutch said, okay, we'll bring in the militia. We'll settle this very easily. They proceeded to slaughter every single one of the tribe that they could recognize, that people would know of importance. And they came back home, and it was like, no, they're not going to believe us. We can't do that. We have to bring something home to show that we actually did this. So they cut the heads off of all the prominent people of the tribe, put them in baskets, and came home with them. They were so delighted when they got them back that they actually played a game of football with the heads of the slain Indians at what is today the approximate area of where the Twin Towers stood. So I call that karma.
Amazing. And I will say this over the open air, okay, that when you say the Wappinger group, okay, the tribe, all right, I have something to say that I'm not going to say on the air, but yes, there is instant karma. When you say that name, Wappinger, there is instant karma to this. I will call you later, and I will tell you about that. And our listeners will be delighted to hear that, yes, Wappinger and karma are almost wed at the hip, okay?
Yeah.
So, amazing, all right? Truly amazing.
I wanted to mention something to you, Greg, directly about being a doctor, because we're sitting there at the fairgrounds, and this is, your average outdoor fair.
Yes.
We're counting, I thought 1 in 3, but I'm going to be lenient. 1 in 4 people completely overweight. And we're looking around and we're going, some people are bloated. Some people are really like a balloon. No kidding. Some of them. Some people are just obese. Whatever the medical problem is. And the young people, you're talking middle school, high school, sometimes kindergarten, completely overweight. Something is wrong, obviously, but see, nobody cares. And this is the world we live in. And what we're saying is, don't believe us. Just look around you. Look at the weaponized food that we're eating. That's what it's called in the industry, weaponized food. It's food-like products. 1 in 4 people, again, that we saw. And this is something that it hit me so hard that I had to take notes. And that was one of them. And because of the way that we're understanding that vaccines come from and what vaccine agenda is, you're looking at that. You're looking at Monsanto. You're looking at the fact that we're fluoride is in just about every single city water system. The overflow of the what is it? The refuse of the drugs that goes down the drain and down the toilet. We're talking about all kinds of things that have to do with dumbing us down. If us parents acted like that, if we put mercury in our children ourselves, if we put windshield washer and what was the last one now, Greg? The babies when they get circumcised, that part of the baby goes into vaccines.
Really? Okay, that's right. It does, doesn't it?
This is something that the Liberty Beacon has published and that I'm encouraging people to go see on TLBTV. It's part of Facebook. And again, baby parts like circumcised areas of the penis are used in vaccines. So I thought that was a good plug for TLB. And as a doctor, I just wanted you to maybe fill us in about how you feel about what I said.
Okay, well, I believe you're speaking about the placental remains after postpartum birth. Yeah, I concur completely about this. Yes, there is a situation now with the foods which are industrialized and which are completely, what's the word, complementary to the medical interests. Okay, always remember how I feel. I do have a naturopathic degree and also an MD, and I have seen the fact that yes, overweight children are now the norm. They never used to be the norm.
No, this is exactly what Larry was saying, Greg. He was saying that today, back in when I was young, like I'm 70 years old. When I was young, you never saw that. Same as with autism, okay? If you think about autism, it was unheard of in the 70s. 1 in 100,000 or 50,000 maybe? Today it's 1 in 50. And what doctors like Andrew Wakefield, who got kicked out of his profession, and his reputation ruined for life, what they're saying is that it's spiking. And by 2032, we're talking 1 in 2 people with autism. So there's definitely the agenda going on.
Well, but of course, here's the deal, is when you have somebody that is disabled by autism, yes, and I've seen disabled patients like this, and the situation is such is that the government ends up picking up the bill. None of this was passed or presented, to the American people, for their decision-making process. And we're talking an astronomical amount of money that will be used, pulled out of government coffers to support the victims of autism, okay, victims of vaccination, and the amount of money will be so horrendous it won't even be describable in terms of what is required to support a patient like that for the term of his life, one person, okay, and we have this situation that basically is the result of the big pharmas producing, okay, with heavy metal, what do they call it? The estrudents, which is the basic medium of supporting these vaccinations, causing conditions themselves through heavy metal application. And what happens then is, or attenuants, I'm sorry, that's the wrong word. Attenuants is the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
And then you have a situation where the pharmaceutical companies that are producing these vaccines have been kicked out of all of the continents except for the North American continent for causing this horrendous condition. And ours is the only government that will gladly let big pharma have its way, with this condition, situation.
So what does that tell you? How can people that know these things not be horrified? You know that meme on social media that says if you're not pissed off, you're not
thinking.
No, okay. You don't know what's going on.
Right, you're not awake. That's correct. No, and that's what is happening with the vaccines. Vaccines are a good one. I have sitting next to me, I have somebody that is considered an expert, okay, on this topic, and the implications of vaccines. And he would more than gladly tell you sometime that yes, this is a situation with vaccines. It's a guaranteed money earner for big pharma.
Of course.
All right? Big pharma. All right. The bottom line always is money. Okay. That's what we have. And we have our own politicians pimping us out, pimping our children out medically to let big pharma have its way. And any damage that is done with this process, okay, won't be referred back to the pharmaceutical companies to pay. Oh no, it automatically goes to the U.S. government, which is the U.S. people. They will pay. They will pay forever. All right, for this group of zombies we are now creating.
And for people that are interested in that,
Yes.
I'm just writing this down as we speak because I don't want to interrupt Greg every 5 minutes.
Yes. And it would be interesting for everyone listening to this show to go look up the fact that how, when, where did the pharmaceutical companies gain the immunity from legal prosecution, okay, and lawsuit, okay, for perpetrating this massive, this destructive medical procedure on the American people. When, where, and who allowed it? That's what I'd like to know. Who allowed it? All right. Somebody intentionally said, yes, this is a great way to earn money for people that are giving me money to keep me in office, and I will go ahead and vote for it. And we could always dress it up, you know, with that hypocritical term and say it's for the health of the people. We're attempting to save lives here.
Right.
Oh,
exactly.
Cut it out. You know, cut it out. All right. That's what I tell these companies. Cut it out. Stop. All right. You greedy sons of bitches. Stop it. Knock it off, or we'll prosecute you for malpractice. In every sense of the word, it's medical malpractice. All right. So yes, we will prosecute. You know, now the next step is to find somebody with some real guts that would step up and do that. I mean, look at I hate to go back to the 9/11 example, but hey, you know, anybody can go look at now the evidence against the Bush administration, all right, and on what happened on 9/11. 3,000 people were killed. Basically, you know, endless war has initiated. All right, it's very simple who these people were that initiated it. Okay, and what is being done? Are any of these people being prosecuted? Oh no, we just have a lot of hand wringing. You think Donald Trump is going to prosecute? I don't think so. Okay, gosh, he'd have to answer to his son-in-law. Okay,
there you go.
You know, I mean, you know, what has happened to this country? So I'm going to wrap this up right now before I get my blood pressure through the roof. Okay, is this real simple? We have got somebody running for president called Jesse Ventura. All right, Jesse Ventura is now going to be running for president. And please, anybody that thinks for 1 second that he doesn't have the guts to step forward and try to straighten out this mess, please call in and tell you, Luca, so you can tell me, and I will address personally, in person, Jesse Ventura, and let him know your concerns, your deep concerns. We need somebody with some guts, some courage that actually has faced danger down many, many times. All right. So, you know, and he is willing to do it. That's what we need. Straightforward, plain spoken, you know, leadership that understands right and wrong. Okay. Not how much does it pay to be right or how much does it pay to be wrong. All right. That's all it's turned out to and boiled down to. Okay. So, you know, that's what we need to know, you know, and this is on this Monday. I guess this show will be shown on Monday.
Yes.
In the afternoon. We need to have Jesse Ventura officially announced, you know, as a candidate for the presidency of the United States. And me, myself, you know, to show you, I will put, you know, my financial backing behind him, behind Jesse, and I will campaign for Jesse. All right. Anybody that has any questions about me and my motives, you'll find those motives out. All right. With Jesse Ventura.
Good. For people that are interested in, you know, learning more about the medical industry and big pharma, like Greg was talking about, they should check out what we're showing now. It's a still shot it's from the video called Rockefeller, FDA, and Cancer. It's a 9-minute video. And in that 9 minutes, you're going to learn a mountain of information about Rockefeller, FDA, and cancer itself. It's you know, this is chemical poisoning of the people, and it's a part of Agenda 21, just like vaccines are, just like Monsanto is, just like big pharma is, you know, and on top of that, you have families that are ripping each other apart. The tissue, the fragile tissue of the family being ripped apart by either materialistic issues or domestic issues or, you know, everything else that the government can get us fighting and disuniting on. Greg, thank you again for this edition,
And what?
and you look great. You're the way your lighting is right now. You're looking like the Godfather at the end of the movie. Half of your face is lit up. You look like Marlon Brando. It's awesome. I'm going to take a
Oh, yeah.
picture of that and send it to you.
Should I say the horror? The horror.
Yeah.
The horror.
Mm.
Okay, that's what Marlon Brando said. In Apocalypse.
Mm.
Okay. Now,
Good.
okay. On a closing note, I want everybody that's listening to us right now, to look at, to understand about allopathic medicine, and look at who the father of John D. Rockefeller was. Okay, who his father was, and how they made their living. All right. It's real simple. He sold snake oil, literally snake oil.
Right.
And that's what gave John D. his idea of what to do with the processed tars from all the oil barrels, okay? The oil tanks for processing. He turned it into medicine and sold it to the American people, okay? That's how we got allopathic medicine.
Petroleum products. That's right. Byproducts of petroleum. Yes.
That's absolutely correct. Coal tar medications. What do you think those are, people? Okay, and we have been sold a bill of goods since that time, and we can thank the Rockefellers. And who's there now pushing the whole concept of vaccines and inoculations and so forth? Same group of people. Same group of people. Something for nothing. That's a whole secret here. Okay, my friend. Best to our listeners too. All right. So we will be talking, and remember, we need a real person for the presidency, not some inbred, money grubbing, pimp. All right. That's what we've gotten, and we've got one now. All right. Money grubbing pimp. All right. We're not gonna tolerate it anymore. We're gonna put somebody into office. Okay. Somebody is going to go into office to get this country back on track.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Luca.
Thank you.
Everything.
This is for Monday. We'll be back for Wednesday's show. Thanks again.
My pleasure, Luca. Thank you.